connected by sea. Harbor Arts in East Boston. We started out with just the place, and I wanted to decorate this huge expanse of concrete. DocTattoo.com. The reason it's called a tattoo is because it's stained into the surface of the pier. Thought about painting, but then it's part of the focus of Harbor Arts is ecological, and I could just imagine paint flaking off and going into the water and becoming pollution. That's where the idea of stain came from, as we came along with professional quality cement stain that sinks into the surface, becomes part of it. Well, the organizing concept is sailor tattoos, so that's a great place to start. And then it's not, you can't think of it as it's the entire world, but it's cultures that have had an impact on our growth. And I can't talk about every single one, but I can just talk about which ones happened in the research, which ones I know about, which ones people have told me about, and do the best we can with what we've got. We started out with a lot of research, like Boston history and all the cultures that came here and all the cultures that we connected with. And then I was researching tattoo history in that culture and also the symbology, because I wanted to tie them together with the theme of symbols of peace and friendship, or healing past ills, or safety for travelers over water. We were researching all of those meanings in all the different cultures and trying to bring together pleasing elements that could be turned into a walking path for visitors to experience as they walked down to look at the Boston skyline. And then you can't think of it as, oh my God, we're going to do this huge thing. You just have to keep going with one thing at a time. Each one was different. A lot of it was internet research, reading about artists from the different places and trying to contact people who would get it, who would have time to talk to me, who would be interested in the project. Or some of them were local Boston contacts. I was asking around who knows about this sort of thing. So for West Africa, I got introduced to a couple of people, like Stephen Hamilton, who's made years of study of West African symbology and art history, and he got the project, he was in favor of it, and we worked really well together. South Pacific, I wound up researching who are the Maori artists who do this sort of thing. And Tiki O'Brien actually started a business living in New Zealand of designing Maori tattoos that were okay for people of other cultures to use. So he knows a tremendous amount about that. I first got the idea last summer, pitched it to Harbor Arts, they really liked it, and we did a test design, a 6 by 10 foot New England Sailors painting as a live painting event during Harbor Arts Festival last fall. everybody liked it and said, let's do more of this, go forward. So I put in the Basques, which was also like a 10-foot circle last November. And then I spent the entire winter researching and planning and putting it all together. And then they let me back on the pier in late June this summer when they were done putting all the ships in the water, which is their main thing they have to do there. And then I've just been flat out full-time from late June to late September. So it was like 3.5, 4 months. Oh, that was tremendous because it's the first time I've been able to work with a crew of people like that. So it's people of all different skill levels. Some were professional scenic painters, and I could just show them a thing and say, it should look like this. Here's the rough sketch. And they would say, okay, that's great, I'm on it. And absolutely knew what to do and had great ideas about what it should look like in the final line weights and everything. Then there were other people who wanted to help but had barely ever hold a brush, so I had to help teach and give them easy sections to do, like fill in this big area. It was all kinds, and it was a great time being together on the pier in such a beautiful place. A whole lot of synergy happened too. My friend Jen, who's been organizing Figment Boston, wound up working on the compass rose at the very end. And her very first tattoo when she was 16 was a compass rose. So she felt very connected to that. We had other people that felt connections to either the place they were working on or the symbols and shapes. Yeah, very much. A lot of the time people will find an area that they've been to or that their family is from, that they have a particular connection with, and it just lights them up to see it. There were some Hispanic people from East Boston who really connected with the Taino Arawak Indians one, which is a local pride thing in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico. And they're saying, that's the coquille frog, and we know that, and these are our symbols, and that makes us happy to see that. So that's really what it's about. Well, for this one, the artistic process was different than some other projects because there was a lot of research. So I was just compulsively reading on the internet because I love studying this stuff, the history of symbol and iconography. So I'd just be reading from one website to another, like, this means this and relates to this, and I was taking it all down. And I'm going to finish the website at doctattoo.com and put all of that stuff on there to use as a springboard for people doing their own research. Putting good, healing, sailor meanings together and making a pleasing shape that could be done as a walking path or something that would look nice in that space. So I did a design that would fit on a page, or worked with a collaborating artist to come up with a set design like that. And then once we got on the pier, there are considerations of the space, like sometimes the ground is weird, or it's next to a thing, or it's partly under the picnic table that the residents use there, so we have to respond to the space and what the walking path is really going to be like for people there. DuckTattoo.com. Connected by sea. So there's some decisions that have to happen on the ground, as it were, of, okay, we're going to move it over, we're going to make it bigger, we're going to make it smaller, and then once we're actually putting it down, the people who are working with me on the painting have ideas too about, like, the line weight should be like this, or I want to add a little thing over here. So it also evolves from the idea to what's really happening in the space. That's been a lot of fun, and it's been great to have so many people's input and make it a great project. At Harbor Arts in the East Boston Shipyard.